Hey, good morning everyone. My name is Lauren and I represent Align Chiropractic, and I'm super excited to welcome you all to a class that I believe will make a huge difference in the enjoyment of your life and in the lives of your family. I want to talk to you about how to live well for life. Now, the facts of life are that a majority of you or your kids will live to 100 years of age. That's super exciting, right? Unless of course, all we can do is lay in bed and breathe. If I'm going to be alive, I want to be able to live well the entire time I'm alive. What about you? And I know what some of you are thinking. You're saying, I do want to live well, but for 100 years? That's pretty out there for me, considering I am nowhere near 100. And I totally get that, but it is time to start thinking about what it means for you and your family to live a long time, because you probably will. Let's take a look at some facts. In the year 1900, the average lifespan was 49 years, and there's no question that this was due to the fact that people died much younger back then. We didn't have the cures, and we didn't provide the healthcare that we provide today. But that's exactly the point. Everyone's chances of living a long and healthy life was much less back then. As a matter of fact, the average lifespan today is 82 years and growing, and a recent study done by the United Nations Department of Social and Economic Affairs studies found that by the year 2050, there will be over 3.6 million people living to the age of 100 and many living to 150. So what does this mean for you? This means that your kids need to worry more about how to live well for the first 100 years than they need to wonder how they're going to spend their inheritance. Because you are probably going to live so long that they themselves will be retired before they even get their inheritance. So yes, this is a topic you and your family need to know about. Since the odds are so high that you and your family will live to 100 years of age, we want to make sure that that long life is a quality long life. You don't want to spend literally 40 years of your life unable to move around. We want to be able to live and to work and to travel and to play on this planet. We want to have a quality life, and we want to ensure that you're able to live well the entire time you're alive. So now that we know that we will live long past 50, what happens after 50? And Long Life has revealed that we will have some major areas of health concern after 50 if we do nothing before 50 to prevent those problems. And these are areas of health concerns that we didn't worry about as much in the past because we weren't living long enough to experience those health problems and make them a priority. For example, we are continually being confronted with the devastation of mental diseases like Alzheimer's. And unfortunately, most of our families will have to face this, but this disease did not just start in the last 10 years. We're just seeing it a lot more because we are living longer today. And now that we know that the chances are much greater that we will live long past 50, there are some precautions that we need to take to ensure that we're able to use our minds when we reach that age. And another example is how we take care of our skin. Old age has brought about a huge growth in cosmetic surgery because more and more people are trying to correct the wrinkle problems that just come with growing older. But the biggest problem that we see with an increased lifespan is the increase in musculoskeletal problems. In other words, your mobility function. We can't move around like we used to. And you'll notice that our world is now filled with canes, walkers, electric wheelchairs, stair lifts, walk-in bathtubs, and even handicap parking spaces. We are the first generation to witness the ramifications that long life creates, and it has revealed that we have done nothing to preserve or protect our musculoskeletal system. Let's take a look at those results of that neglect. An amazing fact is that the most common cause of functional disability in persons over the age of 50 is spinal disorders. Now, this is because the majority of the population has done nothing to prevent spinal disorders. A majority of people that seek chiropractic care wait until they're in crippling pain first. You would think that most of us aren't planning on living past 50 because we've made zero effort to prevent the #1 health concern in people over 50, spinal disorders. We do nothing for our kids and we do nothing for ourselves until we can't move, and then we seek chiropractic care. So I want to ask by a show of hands, how many of you plan on living past 50? Now, how many of you think your family will live past 50? Great, and frankly, the statistics are on your side and show that you probably will, which means that we need to start living like we're going to live past 50 and make an effort to take care of what is going to happen to our mobility. So let's use this as an example. Let's say someone was going to break into your home and steal all of your possessions, but you knew who it was that was going to commit this crime and when they were going to do it. Would you do something about it to stop it, or just let it happen?
Do something.
Of course you're going to do something. You'll do whatever it takes to stop it. Just like we would prevent, and that's exactly what I'm doing here today in this class. I'm warning each of you what is going to happen to your mobility. What is going to rob you of your functional capacities. Steal your mobility and when it's going to happen. And believe me, it's going to make you look old and feel old. So should we do something to stop it? Should we do it for our kids, for our spouse, or just let it happen to our entire family? Of course not. Let's prevent it. So now that we know that this is what we need, you should want this for your family as well. If we're going to be here, we might as well be able to move and function. So let's get chiropractic care for you and your entire family and make it happen. And don't forget that this isn't just limited to back pain. 1 in 3 adults over the age of 50 experience neck pain. So I want to see by a show of hands how many of you plan on using your neck past 50 without experiencing pain.
Me.
Yes. And how many of you are glad that our cars now have backup rear cameras and flashing lights to tell us that there's cars around so we don't have to use our neck to see?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, me too. And now what if I told you that in a group of people 50 or older, 1 in 3 have bad neck pain and 85 out of 100 have back pain? Now I would think that those statistics alone are enough to convince anyone that we need to do something preventative about this mobility problem. But just in case you still aren't convinced, let's take a look at what would happen if we did nothing preventative and just let nature take its course. So let's look at this mobility scale here. As you can see, the numbers on the bottom represent your age, and the numbers on the left represent your maximum mobility percentage. And let's look at the very top of this yellow line. You can see that we will reach 100% mobility, or our maximum mobility, at age 25. And you can also see that we will lose half of that mobility by age 55. And take notice that the line continues to drop like a rock. And by age 70, we only have 25% of the mobility that we had when we were 25. But the big question about this revealing graph is, can this scale be changed? Do we just need to accept that this is the way things are? Or can these results be altered? And the good news is, with preventative care, we can make a huge improvement to the line on this scale. Take a look again at the yellow line to see what happens if we just let nature take its course, and compare it to the green line to see how that can be improved with preventative chiropractic care. You can see here on the green line that our mobility can actually be held consistent at 75% through the age of 50. So now that we know this is exactly what we need to ensure that we do seek preventative chiropractic care. But some of you still may be asking, how does chiropractic work to help with my mobility and overall health and wellness? And to answer your question, our body is our greatest healer. We truly do not understand how incredible our own bodies are. Our body is able to heal itself through the central nervous system. Our brain tells our organs and all other parts of the body what to do through our nerves. It's essentially our body's phone line. It allows us to have good movement, quick body responses, and great healing. Health problems occur when the communication is cut off or interfered with, just like we experienced today with a dropped phone call. But the main thing that stops health and healing in our bodies is nerve interference through the misalignments of our spine, which cuts off communication from our brain and all other parts of our body. And these misalignments can also cause restrictions to our mobility, which creates slow body movement.